Nicki Minaj has officially released her fifth album, Pink Friday 2. The lead up to the album was a bit chaotic and the album experienced a delay. Ultimately, all the mess was pushed to the side once a fan-led meme campaign called Gag City completely took over the internet, which even got me a bit invested. And I thought it was a great way of promotion. But it's time we talk about the actual album, not the rollout or the memes. Previously, I had said this: whatever she decides to do with her fifth album, I hope it's good. I hope we get to see a more mature side of Nicki that maybe touches on her life as a mother, her reflecting on her career, and some of her losses and gains, as opposed to her industry beefs. I think that an amalgamation of the best aspects of Nicki, being funny, being introspective, being a little off the wall with smart and clever production choices, and leading up to the album, I failed to see how the singles were a continuation of Pink Friday. They honestly don't resemble or even give off the same magnetic energy as her debut album. The album is 22 songs long, and it needed to be cut down drastically. There's way too much filler, and not a lot of excitement in between many of the disjointed moments. It opens with a song that samples Billie Eilish's When the Party's Over, and while I appreciate the sentiment of her embracing motherhood, the way the sample is utilized is not very effective or good. It's way too much Billie Eilish, far more than Nicki, and it just makes me want to listen to the original song. She then follows with a series of mild trap bangers, some that are better than others, like Barbie Dangerous. And then we have FTCU and Beep Beep. In FTCU, she drops a line sending shots at both Iggy Azalea and Megan Thee Stallion, saying, "Stay in your Tory Lane, I'm not Iggy." I like the J. Cole feature on Let Me Calm Down and the breeziness and melancholy of the song, but ultimately this album drags and drags on. It's way too long, there's way too much singing, probably her most singing-filled album since Roman Reloaded, and some of the singing and struggle auto-tune notes made me audibly laugh, like on Just the Memories, which once again has a nice sentiment, but is weighed down by Nicki not knowing her strengths and weaknesses when it comes to singing and vocal styling. On nearly all the features, the featured artists have more airtime than Nicki on her own songs. From Drake to Future to Skillibang, it just gives me the impression that they were scraps from these artists' projects that Nicki collected. The second half of the album is filled with these TikTok-light, sample-heavy songs that feel like they were made to extend and capitalize on the success of Super Freaky Girl and Barbie World. The samples range from Cyndi Lauper's classic Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, Heart of Glass by Blondie. She also does a somewhat chaotic Jersey Beat song with Lil Uzi Vert that samples Junior Senior's Move Your Feet, and obviously Super Freaky Girl, which samples Rick James' Super Freak, none of which utilize the samples all that well. They only make me want to listen to the original songs. Pink Friday Girls, which samples Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, isn't a bad pop rap moment though, but nothing is really transformative. Once again, I wouldn't say any of the samples are integrated into coherent or inventive tracks. The album doesn't have much artistic presence in the context of Nicki's career and discography, in my opinion. Gives off more of the feeling of a mixtape or something you just put together to meet a deadline or to satisfy your fans until the real thing comes. You don't get any impression that Nicki even genuinely thinks or feels this is her best work. There's not even a lot of blazing moments when it comes to her unique flow changes. It also leaves the impression that this album was likely only named Pink Friday 2 to bank on nostalgia and name recognition, because it doesn't evolve or mature the sounds, aesthetics, themes, or sonic palette of her debut album. There is no starry-eyed motivational anthem like Moment for Life or Fly, there is no genius pop rap moment like Super Bass, and there's certainly no disses that cut harder or at least just as hard as Roman's Revenge or Did It On 'Em. In fact, Pink Friday's worst songs are better than Pink Friday 2's best songs. Not that that's saying too much, but still, I think the most that can be said is that it's probably the most singing that she's done since the early days of her career. Pink Friday 2 is not cohesive in the slightest, and it's just a hodgepodge of sometimes sweet and victorious, but mostly half-baked and ill-fitting ideas. With that being said, there are a handful of highlights such as Bomb Bomb, Barbie Dangerous, Let Me Calm Down, and Big Difference, where her fierce and electric personality isn't lost in forgettable balladry and bad auto-tune warble. Easy to say, I do prefer the more rap-heavy songs. The production for the most part is also pretty faceless and lacks character. I think Nicki definitely needed a better selection of beats. The lyricism isn't anything new, there's peaks of introspection, but not much. It doesn't necessarily feel like a follow-up to Pink Friday. Even if the original Pink Friday wasn't a perfect album, it had spirit and a range of well-conceived songs. This is easily the worst album Nicki Minaj has ever released and my least favorite. Barbs, I had to be honest. Gag City did not leave me gagged, and for that I will pack my bags. We've been evicted.